Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Adult Track. It's your girl, Stay Brown. I'm here. I'm still popping. I'm still kicking. Consistency, obviously, evidently, is not my thing. But I've been thinking, and I would love your guys' opinion on this because I obviously want to be able to come here and just talk. But I don't want to come here and just talk for the sake of talking. I want to have something substantial. I want to be able to have had the time to sit and think and had the time for introspection. I don't know why I'm trying to use big words, but so that I can still come and process my emotions, but from a place where it will also add value to those that are listening. Because emotions cannot be controlled. And there's sometimes, like some days when I write my thoughts down, I'm having this like Einstein, Karl Marx, Freudian experience where I'm just like X plus Y equals Z. But I can't confine my moments of revelation to a timeline. So for my peace of mind and against every bone in my body, I'm going to try and just give myself some more leeway to record when feels right as opposed to record when I need to. And hopefully that will ensure that the quality of every single piece of content that I put out, I am happy with. I believe in times like this, it's quality over quantity. But I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's get into this week's episode. So, for the past few days, I've been taking some much needed time just away from everyone, my people, like my notifications are off. I'm not answering calls. I'm just in my own little bubble and I'm just giving my brain space to recharge and recalibrate. And it's really in these moments that I realize that in and amongst all of the fun that you have in friendships, it's really hard work for me. Like, I've been trying to be more present and just be a better friend to those around me, but I am very, very tired, like very tired. And it's not hard work in the sense that I'm having to do things that I don't want to do or like I'm arguing or anything like that. It's more so the process of interacting and just using my brain to think of something to say and then being around humans 24/7 with work, messaging, replying. Like, it's exhausting. And every now and then I just need to take a well-deserved break. And I'm going to chalk this up to two things, right? Uncertainty and autism. Now, I don't talk about autism a lot because it's uncomfortable for me. And I still have like that crazy imposter syndrome that's just like, you're just looking for attention. You want to be diagnosed with all these different things. But it's moments like this where like the symptoms, I'm just ticking off all the boxes on the DSM. I mean, I've always loved my solitude. Like, some of the best times of my childhood I remember is making up stories full of imaginary friends and just playing by myself. Like, I didn't have to worry about others coming in and just changing the whole narrative of what I want my story to be, or just telling me my story sucks and just making me feel miserable. It was literally just my way, the way I liked it, and I could just do what I want. Like, I felt like I was a young Sheldon Cooper when it came to playtime. Like, do it exactly this way, or just, I beg, let me just do it all by myself. And at home, that worked, you know? I'm an only child. I'm not an only child. Obviously, I'm the only child between my mum and my dad. But my siblings are so much older than me. So it was fine. But in a social environment, it becomes very difficult to make friends because who wants to be bossed around and told what to do all of the time? So in order to fit in, obviously, I had to conform some more and follow other people's scripts, which was literally a conscious effort because ultimately I was now doing things in a way that my brain just didn't want to and wasn't accustomed to. And that takes a lot of energy. And even though I've been doing it for at least 20 years of my life, it still takes a lot of energy. And I've gotten used to it as time's gone on. And it's obviously become less difficult, but it's still a conscious consideration that like I have to make, that I can't just not talk. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have I have to do these things if I want any sort of true human connection in this life. And I am very glad for the friendships that I have developed, the closest ones I've had developed anyway, because in these moments of isolation, I realized that I do actually have the freedom to fall off the face of the planet of the earth when I need to recharge without people getting offended by it. Like, I don't have many friends that I communicate with daily. So for most part, it's not an issue because they're none the wiser. But for those that I do communicate with often, there's just this level of understanding. Like, I disappear for a few days. It's a question of, are you okay? Do you know what I mean? There's no animosity in it. There's no like, you haven't replied to my message. Like, none of that. And I've wanted to talk about understanding for a little while because actually in that episode a few weeks ago when I came back from a holiday, I touched on some real key factors that just contribute to developing true, pure friendships. And I didn't get to give it the amount of attention that I wanted to, specifically the concept of understanding. Because really taking the time to like know people that you're friends with and allowing them to just be their pure selves, like good and bad, not taking offense when they make human errors, it's like the golden nugget to building and sustaining a true friendship. And as is the theme of my life, I've learnt this very late. I've learnt this year, pretty much. And it's one of the best lessons that I have learned that's just helped me give people more grace. Now, I've never been particularly lucky in friendships. I've never had like a solid group of girls that I always went out with, gossiped with, etc. You know, like the non-toxic version of Pretty Little Liars, like those kind of vibes. Like, I was very much the kid that stayed in the classroom during break. I read my books because going outside was stressful. Trying to socialize and make friends has always been extremely stressful. But even in those moments, I wanted to have those friendships, you know? I wanted to be able to build true, deep connections with other people because I felt like I had so much love to give. I did have so much love to give, and I just didn't know where to put it. I had nowhere to put it. So when I eventually did find a friend, like someone that I really, really clicked with, and we'd managed to build this friendship that was everything I'd asked for, when things weren't going how I thought they should be, or things happened that hurt my feelings, it was just really hard for me to tell them because I was terrified that me saying this thing meant that the friendship was going to come to an end. And coming from a household that was only ever loud about when I fell short, I believed that I was just all bad things. So it must just be my fault. Like, I must just be being dramatic. I must just be being too sensitive. And I also felt like I had to always be agreeable and understanding all the time in the outside world if I wanted people to like me. So not only was that exhausting, it stopped me from knowing what it was like to have people that liked me for just being me. And it also stopped me from learning a really important lesson about friendships and relationships in general, and that's that arguments are not a bad thing. Disagreements are normal, and arguments are great opportunities to deepen understanding and just connect on another level. Like, this friend I was speaking about, we were so close. Like, we would spend every day after school together. Like, we would just talk. Like I said, the kind of friendship that I'd always dreamed of. And we would literally boast about never having had an argument. Like it was a golden badge. Like, it let people know that we were the best of friends. We just get on so well. Like, we never even disagree. Like, we just get each other. Like, this is my soulmate. Like, we thought it was this crazy positive thing. But in actuality, it was unhealthy. Because it wasn't that we weren't arguing because we didn't have any issues. It was more because we weren't communicating when something happened that we didn't like. And so instead of us growing together and learning to understand, okay, this person likes this person doesn't like that, we were growing apart because all this animosity was building from all these unspoken things. And for me, in those moments, it was like, I just thought that's just what you do when you're friends with someone. Like, it's no big deal. I don't want to rock the boat. And I am not about to be the one to break the streak of no arguments ever. Like, that was a hard band-aid to rip off. Like, so instead, the negative feelings just grew and festered as the behaviors that I didn't like continued. And it really eventually started to make me feel shit about myself because I wasn't being loved in the way that I needed to be loved in those moments. But that person wasn't to blame because I wasn't communicating it with them. And that's the buck I was missing. And also, I was missing the fact that no two people are going to agree 100% of the time. And a disagreement doesn't mean you have a bad friendship. If anything, it's a healthy sign because you feel safe enough in the relationship that you feel like you can communicate openly and freely without that fear of rejection. And I mean, we did finally have a conversation 6-7 years later. And let me tell you, don't be like me, because this conversation only happened because they were complaining to me about another person who'd come to question their qualities as a friend. And I basically said, yeah, she's right there because you've done X, Y, and Z to me too. Obviously, understandably, child, it did not go down well. Like, in a moment when they were seeking comfort and support, I instead blindsided them with years and years and years and years and years of my feelings and issues that they genuinely had no idea existed. Like, they thought we had this perfect friendship when in actuality, I was completely tapped out of it. And that wasn't fair for me to do. And consequently, we didn't speak for a while after it because I went into that conversation thinking this is a great time for us to find this understanding and me to really get my point across. And it's like, no, because no one is going to be able to have those kind of conversations if they're feeling attacked. So when we did eventually speak again, we had a lot of conversations, and our friendship is actually so much healthier because of it. Like, when I say a lot of conversations, I'm talking hours and hours. Like, we would rehash loads of incidents that happened, how they made us feel. We apologize for things, ask questions, to like form a bit of understanding. And it wasn't like, okay, we're going to do this so that we can become better friends. It was like an unspoken, intentional movement so that we can really develop a better friendship. And I learned a lot during the process. Like, it's very easy to get caught up in our versions of what love should look like. And when people don't act in those behaviors, we automatically think it's because they don't care. They don't respect us or whatever it is. And though in some cases that may be true, it's not always going to be. Now, I am notorious for like ghosting friendships. Like, I won't say anything. I just fade away like that little, you know that Simpsons meme, right? That's me, just walking away into the bushes. And for me, that's got nothing to do with the person and just everything to do with the fact that I hate conflict and I just cannot be vulnerable with like how I feel. Like, if you knew how much I hate being seen as being overly sensitive or wrong, blah, 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 chai, those things hurt. It's easier for me to just run away instead of basically facing it like an adult. Now, it doesn't mean that I love the person any less, nor does it mean that I don't care about them. I simply can't see past the storm that's my own emotions to be able to consider theirs. And I've done it a million times. I've done it a million times over. The more I love the person, the more likely I am to do it because I have a sharp mouth. And I will cuss someone that I don't get on with like that, or I don't care about with like that, if they get on my nerves. But when it comes to people I actually care about, I just can't do it. It's not okay. It's definitely something that I need to work on. And whether healthily or not, because I have my ways, I've realized that everyone has formed their own set of bad habits. And for some people, mental health issues. So no one's ever going to act in the way that you believe they should do, because the things that you've set up in your mind is completely different from the things they set up from theirs. And we can't take that personally. Instead, we have to really take the time to talk to people and be open to just learning about them, because a little bit of understanding really goes a long way. But like, you don't have to. It is totally your prerogative to determine if something that someone has done to you is bond breaking, or it's something that, you know, you can speak through and work on building a safer space for there to be that level of communication and understanding. And if you do choose to talk it through, you can still understand without accepting. Like, for some people, me disappearing off the face of the planet of the earth is not acceptable behavior. Me ghosting or like slowly disappearing is not acceptable behavior. Like, I'm sure we've seen the TikTok of the girl that said her friend came to her with like, oh, I don't like that you robbed me of the opportunity to be there for you, when she said that she was isolating because there was stuff going on. It's coming from a positive place, and we love that. But I personally don't have time for a what about me ass friend when I'm going through it. If I want to be left alone, I want to be left alone. So in that instance, I can understand, but respectfully decline to continue that friendship. Like, you are well within your rights to say your way of friendship does not work for me. Because this season, life even, not even a season, life should be full of intentional relationships. That means being around people who make you feel good about yourself and who are willing to take the time needed to get to know you and understand your reasons why. It means being around people that add value to your life, who help push you to grow and become even better versions of yourself. And it means not being afraid to speak up for your needs, no matter the consequences. And when you find those people, those are the ones that are worth forgiving and allowing yourself to rebuild bonds with when they break. Because there's something so transformative in the process of getting back to a good space with someone. I don't know what it is, and I really need to sit down and look into it, because there's been a lot of that recently, I'll be honest. But that's a topic for a different day. This week's song of the session is Snooze by SZA and Justin Bieber. It's the acoustic version and it's amazing. These are the type of relationships I'm trying to build. Like, forget the romance. I am focusing on building these bonds with my friends and just falling in love with the friendships that I have and the bonds that I'm building. Like, it fills me in a way that I thought being with a man would fill me. And it's showing me that all the love that I'm looking for is so much closer than I've ever thought that it was. And I love that for me. And I want that for everyone around me, honestly. Because not only do you get that give and take of being filled and filling someone else, it will also help you hold those men to a higher standard when they come into your life. So I'm going to go message a friend that I've been running away from for the past 6 months. I'm going to take some of my own advice. And I hope you take some of my advice too. Until next time, chica. Bye.